Good morning, Gambia. Good morning, our beautiful listeners. Welcome to another edition of the Chitchat show. Today, our topic of discussion is sexual harassment at the university and workplace. With me in the studio is Safia Diouf and Serif Jaha. Welcome in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, wonderful viewers. As I said, today the topic of discussion is sexual harassment in the university and, of course, workplaces. These are places where sexual harassment do occur. Of course, it is widely accepted that almost everywhere sexual harassment occurs, even in our communities. But today we are going to look at sexual harassment specifically at the university and workplaces. We will want to know about what constitutes sexual harassment, or what could constitute sexual harassment, and if sexual harassment occurs, what are some of the possible options available for victims to explore in order to challenge or to resolve some of those sexual harassment issues. Safia, what is your thought, what is your opinion when we say sexual harassment?
Well, thank you once again for inviting us over to this wonderful platform. As you rightly said, sexual harassment is an unwelcome act towards an individual, and that's why today we want to focus our point on discussing these issues to people and bringing out remedies, solutions that people can use at the end of the day that will be a beneficial thing in their lives.
Okay. Thank you very much, Safia. Saif, we talked about sexual harassment. We've seen how students, junior, senior students, graduate, both men and women, of course, experience sexual harassment from male and female professors or female lecturers, at the university. And of course, immediate supervisors or co-workers in workplaces experience sexual harassment. What is your take on this?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank you for welcoming us in this program. First, I would like to tell you this. in the human nature, every human being, as a man and a woman, we are inclined towards each other. So the male is inclined to the female, and the female is inclined to the male. There are certain natural instincts in every man and woman that compels the man, when he looks or sees certain features within a woman, compels him to go after the woman. You understand? So if I'm a student and I get to the university, I am dressing a certain way in front of a certain lecturer who has his own natural feelings towards women. Now in that sense, likelihood there will be an environment within that class in which you as a student who dressed in a certain way, you are tempting somebody who didn't even want it to come towards you. Either in whatever way he's attempted to, behave certain way that are unwanted by you. But first, we ask the question, why is that behavior now? That's the question.
Okay.
Why is this person acting in certain way that you don't want towards you?
Okay.
What is the reason?
Okay.
So we have to look that into consideration as well.
Okay.
So if I'm acting, let's say, if we look at the word, what does harassment mean? The dictionary tells us it is simply an annoying act that somebody must do towards another person.
Okay.
So if I harass you, meaning it doesn't necessarily mean like this one is sexual, it has to deal with sexual nature.
Exactly.
So if we, for instance, you're a female and she's a female, and then she dressed a certain way, come to my class. I'm a man. So am I not necessarily, go in that moment in the class, but I can do certain sign that indicates to her, you're beautiful.
Good. And those are sexual harassment. Those signs are also considered sexual. Now, Safia, what is your take on what Sirif said? Because to him, sexually harassed victims sometimes are the reasons why they have been harassed due to the nature of their dress. What is your take on that?
Okay, I will support one side of it, that is when he made mention of a certain nature of the dresses that women do and sit in class, which is not welcoming, which is not telling well about themselves. But then again, he made mention of something, and I want to come back to that point.
Okay.
Some men also are very, very weak.
Okay.
because there's a way that someone might dress, and you will look at the person and at least advise the person, but not, you shouldn't use that means because she doesn't dress properly. You just have to do any kind of act towards her,
okay.
you know, just to sexually abuse her in a way that you know that it's inappropriate.
Okay. Okay.
So these are the things that we want to talk about as men.
Okay.
If you see that kind of things, the best thing is to call the student apart, talk to the student in person, advise her next time not to dress in that manner.
Okay.
But with some men who have this mentality of women like we as sex objects, that you can, you know, you don't even value women to that extent, and you know, you as a teacher being in class, you know that you are encountering with different kind of students. In that case, you should try to control and mold yourself in such a way that when you face your students, you will not have the intention of using them or whatever, but the only intention you're going to have in you is to teach them and put something, to change in their life.
Okay.
I think this is what I believe in.
Okay. 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 These are very, very eloquent remarks that you put across here. Of course, now let us look at sexual harassment in the workplaces. How does sexual harassment occur, or how does it happen in a particular workplace? We've seen, if you go to some of our offices, you know, whether public or private offices, you will see some sexual advances, you know, towards women. Of course, it differs. Some of course goes through texting message, or some, in fact, on welcome hug or welcome kiss. You see all this in happening in workplaces. In fact, in some cases, you will see male trying to hug female, and of course, the female can no longer reject that hug, but they have no option than just to hug. But they hug, but it's not their willingness to hug that particular person. All those ones are considered, of course, sexual harassment. In your own opinion, how does sexual harassment occur in the workplace?
Okay, when we come to the workplace, we have the employer.
Okay.
We have the employee.
Okay.
So the employer and the employee relationship, and the employee relationship.
Great.
So if you look at those relationships, now we have to look at the environment. You know,
Okay.
she said something very important.
Okay.
Let's take an instant. Like, you got to control yourself as a human being.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
That is why we are religious people.
Yeah.
You understand? We are set. Standards have been set for us since then.
Okay.
But then you don't even have to shake hands to the woman.
Okay.
It's in our religions. You
Okay.
don't have to shake hands.
Yes.
You don't even have to look. You know, too hard.
Exactly.
Certain look.
Exactly.
You're only asked to stay, and then that's the end of it.
Yes.
You're not even asked a second time. Third time.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So if we, deviate from those acts, then as long as, because what we should understand, these are natural, instinct that happens to the human being.
Okay.
Do you understand? So if you're in a workplace, now, what is the dress code that this workplace has stipulated to avoid, to prevent, like, this kind of, sexual harassment to take place? You come in a hockey, in our culture, we never know of females helped by a man.
Yes.
But where do we get that culture now? So we look at it on the films all over the world. We try to say, okay, since this kind of society is doing this, so we are also trying to practice that. But we know the consequences of you hugging a female. Whether you like it or not, there's a consequences of that.
Yes.
So if I hug you once, hug you twice, hug you 3 times, then I tend to have some emotional feelings.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So now, if sometimes the bosses might use their own power, not necessarily meaning that I have certain, instinct, but I only think that, okay, I can use this woman just because I have a position.
Okay.
We have seen that. So it means you are forcefully abusing this woman because she also has a fear that, okay, if I resist, I lose my job.
Exactly.
If I resist, my security for my own life might be at stake. So what should I do? Even I don't like it, let me keep me. Do you understand? So the only way in the workplace, why does it happen in the workplace? Is simply because we have, number one is, okay, you have a secretary.
Okay.
That come with a skirt.
Yeah.
And I know how tempting that skirt will be to me.
Yeah.
So comes twice, come to my office once, comes twice, come 3 times. Immediately she comes in, my focus is the skirt, whether I like it or not. So within days, 3 days, then nice word starts to come in between. You're looking beautiful, And those things, those such comments, that's why it starts.
Exactly.
And the comments continue, and then talking comes. Then who knows what will happen the next one.
No one does.
So these are things that not the fact is this, this is because religion knows actually how weak the man is. There's no man who says, okay, I can withstand these things. The weakness of a man is a woman, that naturally known, scientifically proven. The men are weak entirely in front of a woman. You understand? And
Right,
seeing a part that that attracts me, that it makes me like feel joy in a certain way, that want me to get it. So the only way we can protect the individual, we have to check on the dress code within put a strict clause. Do you understand? Strict policies within the workplace that we are not compromising with. If you respect a woman, you don't lay your hand on her. You don't lay her. If you look at this one, it's my sister. You understand? I will not shake even hand with you. I won't do it because I know shaking hand can resort to something else.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So there are certain social activities which all causes this sexual harassment that comes within the office.
But don't you think in another way around, of course, the victims, like I said earlier, they cause all this sexual harassment was themselves because you dress inappropriately, in office, and of course you also portray that face or that relationship with your boss or with your co-worker. Then they will also, because psychologically, when you want to, when you want man to advance to you, there are some psychological tendencies that you put in place, and they will of course approach you.
Surely.
Of course, some of the ladies per se, they contribute to that, right?
Yes, that's very true. I've been working in a department and I've seen similar things happening there.
Great.
That is, women also play a vital role in this kind of behavior. Because I can say I'm here to talk about women, to defend them to the last word, but in some other manners, I have to also make these things clear.
Okay.
Having certain concepts and beliefs of you coming to work and your purpose is just to target the CEO.
Yeah.
We have seen this thing. Dress in such a manner, or even sometimes from the interview, you will know actually what this woman comes for. Because from the interview, if you give them the chance to ask certain questions, I believe you should ask about the mode of your work, what you're going to do, and all that. But to my surprise, some questions will be like, are you the owner of the company? Are you the CEO?
Exactly.
Those kind of fishy questions. Already you have put an instinct into the hearts of that man that is actually sitting and trying to interview you from that platform will know what actually you were coming in for. So that's why as women, the first thing you should build within yourself is the personality and dignity. You should have dignity in such a manner that if you actually goes to a place or you are sitting in front of people or a group of men or whatever that have, I don't blame them much. I mean, some women, because of the status of the man, maybe that of vanity and all that. So your intention and your behavior, your character is just to come and seduce the boss. That's your concept and belief that you have put into yourself. So these things have to be put aside in order to avoid certain, things happening between you and your CEO or you and your senior managers in certain conditions. It's very vital for women to take this thing and start believing in themselves and know that they are not what they think they are. Okay?
Very true.
They are not what they think they are, because these are the things that will actually lead into something else.
Exactly.
We have seen it into the country right now, like some of the claims that are coming up towards certain individuals, talking about, this has happened to me. I said to my, there was a time I was discussing with my sister, I said to my sister that I don't say that it doesn't actually happen.
Yes.
But some women actually wanted that.
Wanted that, exactly.
So we have to make this thing clear for them to understand.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Dignity and the personality, women need to have that. Safia, these are very, very important points that you put across. We need to put up mechanisms. Yes, Sirif, you
just
want to
add something.
Okay.
What we should understand is the most important personality in the society, in any society, is the woman.
Okay.
That's the most important part.
Okay.
So if there is no appropriate measures in which the woman has to be prepared in a certain way, but the man has to be controlled, then that society will never grow. Where we have a society where women are not trained as supposed to be trained, are not given the respect, the dignity they're supposed to get, that society will never go forward. Because men now will be inclining their mentality only towards having sexual orientation to the woman. So how do you control that mind to think? Then you have to deprive that mind from thinking of sex.
Exactly.
The more you think of sex, the more you go up, you go to get it anyhow.
Exactly.
Up to the extent of raping or whatever comes.
Exactly.
But if the woman is well prepared, no man dares to go to a woman that is dignified.
Exactly.
You only go to a woman that you think like.
But sorry to interrupt you. We have dignified women, and better still, they have been sexually abused.
Yes. That is true.
Very true. That's very true.
We have these kind of people whom, like, as we said earlier, the belief and the concept towards women, because they think that even a woman with a higher status or whatever, she's just under my feet.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a bad concept, I can.
They still experience some form of sexual harassment.
No, my point is this. When we have a society that gives value to the woman, no man dares to go to that woman. Now, because the society has not created an environment in which this woman has to be protected.
But
So if, let's take for example, we have policies, but let's say policies are there, it's just a written document, but is it put into implementation?
They are not enforced.
Yeah, and
Is it
they are not
enforced?
enforced, but I think it's high time then our government to work towards that, having certain agencies that will investigate, that will send in messages to offices, not just government, but even private sectors and all that. They will have to monitor how you are feeling in your work, what are the constraints that you are going through between you and your boss or whatever. These things have to be investigated. Then I can say measures can comes in, then solutions can be drawn, and then the society can be a peaceful environment for both men and women. Because if you said also sexual harassment, you know that some men are encountering that.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Some men are really encountering this kind of situations, because you will see certain women, their agenda, their determination is to go in for certain kind of women. Kind of men, which in their cases they didn't like it, and they cannot run away from it because of what they have the belief that men are actually very weak. There's a certain way you will approach them, or there's a certain way you will do with them. Easily they could fall for you.
Right.
We have to
Okay.
take this
What I'm clearing there is policies here. Most of the times we copy and paste policies. You just take a policy that is drafted by Ghana, drafted by other countries. You just take it from there, copy paste. Do you understand? Policies has to come down to the house,
Exactly.
to the family unit. Because if the family is well defined, society is correct. If society is well defined, then the state is correct. Absolutely. But if the family at home, nothing is defined as supposed to be defined, then entirely the society has a problem. So policies we do make most of the time is just sitting 2 personals, 3 personals, just come and draft a policy, and we come to the states, and then some opinions are given, we draft, put it in assembly, then ratify, and that's it.
That's
but
right.
How about the house?
That's
Does
right.
it took part? Did the house take part in the policy?
Yeah.
That's right.
Do you understand? Is the family unit an integral part of that policy you are putting for the protection of the woman, for the protection of the man who is being harassed sexually? Is that the case? It's not the case. The case is you only looked up to higher things instead of looking at the grassroots. That's the point. If you don't make sure the grassroots is well defined, then the building cannot be constructed as you expect. So meaning what I'm putting forward is, we have seen at home fathers abusing their own daughters.
Yes.
We have seen uncles the same thing. We have seen the family unit is sometimes it's crazy. But what is the solution at house now? If the house, because each and every one member of the society comes from a home. If the home is well defined, then you don't mind to go out and do something else because the home is defined.
Sexual harassment at the university and workplace.
This is Better Future Production. I see you have come to our website. Before you leave, please make sure that you go ahead and watch all our interesting content and press on that subscribe button, okay? Like us. Thank you.